Welcome. This screencast will address the Week 3 assignment, Create the Homepage. And so let's look at it together. You'll notice it says Getting Started, create the homepage in HTML. The anticipated or estimated time is about an hour. So I won't be able to demonstrate all of the activity, but the majority of it to at least get you started in the right direction. So remember these old activities we did with Khan Academy? Okay, you should have done that already. If you haven't, go do it. What I'd like us to do now is make sure we have the HTML file ready called index.html. Look at a previous screencast I've done titled Software Setup, and it explains how to get that project shared and remixed. So it's talking about this one, the index.html file here that I have opened for you in Glitch. This is a good structure that we'll build upon. Okay. Now, if we come down here, it's important when you name files for the web that you make them case sensitive. I will always name my pages lowercase with no spaces and no special characters. Okay, I will even avoid using numbers, okay, but you may. They are safe to use technically, as are underscores and hyphens. But let's inspect the head, okay? You'll notice there's this tag, meta, and there's the head element, as well as the title of our web page, okay? So if we're making a change to that, the title, we would do that here and close WDD130. We would change the title there, okay? So make sure if you're pasting something, it's the right something, okay? You see I had some previous HTML there. So what I'd like us to do here is first change the title together. And again, you can use the wireframe for the homepage to help you, okay? Because it's going to be a dry or site that we're building. So coming on down, I'm going to actually call it that. Dry or website, okay, for example. Now, it feels like we're building a house and we start to build all of these elements inside and these tags. So coming on down here, make sure, okay, that you can identify the header tag. It's right here. Everything inside of the body element compromises the main content that viewers see. They'll see the logos we address. They'll see the navigation. They'll also see the divs or containers that we put in, okay? And the headings. They'll see all of this. This is stuff they should see. And again, we should be duplicating the text from this wireframe. So I will open it. We will be putting in these headings, so I'll keep this open. This tab is active, okay? So we want to do that. So moving along in the assignment, change your title, okay, like I've done. And moving on through step 4, you'll notice framing with semantic elements is important. So one thing we'll do is look at the wireframe and make sure we're using the correct elements. And they're all addressed here. If we keep scrolling, talks about divs, okay, created for the banner, and the rest of the main content. So if we come on down here, remember, if you've done the tutorials, classes and IDs are simply naming schisms that you can give to specific elements. And by that I mean, what if you meant 5 of me, 5 Chris Rigbys? In order to distinguish Chris Rigby, times 5, you'd probably want to create some secondary names for us, or classes and IDs. Maybe a middle initial, maybe a birthday, maybe a social security, right? Number to differentiate us. And that's what we do in society. That's what we do here in web design. You must give every element a specific class and ID if you want to distinguish them. So if I want to distinguish this listed item from the next, I could simply assign it a name, okay? Or a class name called maybe site plan. And if I wanted to style this site plan, well, then I'd have to find a CSS file like styles.css to address that. And I could say if it's a class that I'm styling, such as site plan here, okay, this listed item site plan, to make it distinguished from resources, I would go to my styles, style sheet, and I would preface the class with a dot and name it like so. Okay, site plan, and I would style it however I want to. Okay, this would make the listed item blue, for example. If you want to test it out, let's try it. Let's say, is it correct? It's site plan. Oh, I did actually a lower p. Let's do site plan, camel case it. And I should see the word site plan colored in blue if I've classified it with site plan. If we come over here, site plan is in blue. Let's test it. Let's preview in a new window. We see site plan. It's a little difficult. It's already a little blue. Let's go back and fix that, shall we? Let's change that. Let's actually do something more red, more contrast. Okay, and let's actually do this in a new window. Now what do you notice? The bullet point's red, but the rest of the type hasn't changed. Okay, so that's a little bit of how we do it in CSS. You also want to make sure if it's an external style sheet like we have here, that you're actually linking to it. So if I come into index, here's my link to the style sheet, okay? Styles.css. So yeah, technically it's working. It could use more work. It is a little red, but it's not overriding this style that we have. Okay, so that's a little bit about how you distinguish something with CSS. So moving on down, this is what your body should look like, okay? So this is what you want to do. We've got the header, good. We've got the div, class logo box, nav with the listed items, check, check, check. And then the main, this is what we want to look at next. Do we have a banner box div? Ooh, we actually don't. We haven't done that. I see logo box, but look, I need to adjust my main, okay? That's what we need to address. So there's also a footer we need to type in. Okay, so it's recommended you type these out so that you're following. I'm going to simply copy them just to show you how they should look once you've typed them in. Again, it follows the header. We have the main section. And then we have a footer all enclosed before the body. So let's do that. Okay, let's make sure I'm outside my nav. And we see here my header should actually close after my nav, which means I need to remove all of this. Okay, that was what I did before. This is what I'm doing now. Okay, so we need to have the main, and it's a good practice as well to have indentation. Okay, and I even include white spaces, empty lines to break things up so it's more clear what I'm doing. Okay, I'll even say the nav should be probably separated. Okay, and the div, just to give it some spacing. I like to keep things that are similar together, and I like to separate things that are not too similar with the space. So you'll notice in the comments, we don't see these. It's just saying footer content goes here. So if I look at my wireframe, you'll notice it's all here. And I'm going to actually do that right now to show you. Okay, this is simply what we're doing in the assignment. When we create the home page, we need to decide what comes. So how do you do a copyright symbol? You don't just write copyright. It's actually a special character. And if I think correctly, it starts with an ampersand, followed by the word copy and a semicolon. But it's not actually an element tag. I'm going to actually remove those brackets. I believe it's just this for the special character. Okay, it's this. And followed by the year, so it's actually 2020 if you can believe it. Followed by the words Dryor, my name, Chris Rigby. And section number, if you don't remember it, that's okay. I'm not going to dock you points. I believe I'm teaching 2 sections, which are 11 and 22. But I'm just going to say section number, just for fun. And then you'll notice along the end of the line, I do have 3 images. So we know the simple context is this. We need to have these descriptions here. Okay, SRC is the image we want. And we'll copy this 3 times because I'm going to have 3 images. Okay, 3 social media ones. Maybe one is, you could call it Facebook, right? And the other could be Instagram. And the next one could be YouTube, right? And then what you could do as well is you could just go find some of those images here, okay, to use. So let's actually go see if I can link you to the content. Oh, here we go, images. It's actually 5, adding content. So keep the wireframe handy as you go through, just like I'm doing. You want to go and grab these rafting images. And they may even have some social media ones here. Let's double check. No, it's all rafting images. So let's see, more logos. Gonna load that. Oh, this is them. Okay. So use these. You may have to go and grab a Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram image, and then you'd want to simply upload that here into assets so that you could use it. So if I want to grab these, I can do the same to bring those in here. So I will grab them. I have a Dryor already. Let's see, is any of these suitable for my banner? Let's double check. Which one looks wide? Like would be suitable for banner. Ah, these would be great for the banner. I'm actually going to grab this one. Okay, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say save image as. I'm going to save it here called my banner, right? And it's a JPEG. Let's actually upload this to assets. Upload asset, and let's take, where is it? Banner.jpg. Check, check. You see I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm now going to be working the wireframe up here to add this content. I started with the footer, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps down here. So let's get that going. I'm going to click on it, and let's copy it. And then coming back here, we notice, okay, that's how it's looking if I refresh. Hey, look, the alternative text for YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook are all there. Okay, so that compromises my footer. And now I'm going to be adding a banner below the navigation, because you see the navigation's here, and the banner follows. So after resources, I'm going to do that, add a div up there with the image. So let's come back to glitch. Let's come back here, come back to our file. It's index.html, and it's down here in the body. Okay, we have to decide, is the logo box, right, the banner? No, that's the logo. So instead of doing that, we should actually include our image here inside this div. Okay, div logo box, we could say inside this div. Okay, and let's add the logo. Let's close this, get the alt text going. And then outside here, we have the navigation. Navigation follows, so logo, navigation, check, check. After navigation, we should close the header, right? And then in main, there it is. There's our banner box. So let's do that. Banner box, and let's put in banner box. And again, this is just the structure I'm showing you. You'll have to fill in the actual images and the alt information. Okay, and then there, that's the URL I can copy for my banner. I took it from the assets. And let's go get my logo up here. Let's finish that off. Okay, I'm calling this logo icon. I'm going to click here with my cursor, go back to assets. Let's copy this. Okay, dry or logo. Coming back to index again. I'm going to paste that. And then let's preview what we've done. I just pasted in the logo. I've pasted in the banner. Let's make sure I typed in the alt text, because in the event that your image doesn't show, your alternative text should, as you saw it worked here. So let's preview. Okay, I'm actually getting some errors down here. I'm not sure what's going on. Open and close my footer. What's it saying? SRC, the IMG must have a value. Oh yeah, because I've left these blank. Okay, that's what it is. So I'll address that later. Let's say in a new window. Ta-da! So we've got the icon working. You'll notice, it's not exactly to these dimensions. That's something we'll have to fix. If I wanted to, I could be very bossy, right? And I could give it a width and a height. And that's something we want to also address in our wireframes, is we need to instruct the developer how wide, how tall should these be. Okay, so I come here to height and I say, yeah, let's make it 115 by 115 pixels. And let's preview it in a new window. We've now shrunk it down to size. My banner is still, its original size. It's spreading the page. So at least for this exercise this week, we're approaching 13 minutes on the video. So I have to wrap this up. You need to make sure you've at least got all the content there. Don't worry about the positioning and the colors so much for now, but I do want you to get all the content in here. We've addressed the logo, the navigation, the banner. I've started with my footer, and so what I'm going to end with, and I won't be doing too much in CSS this evening, I'm coming on down here, okay? Scrolling on down, we need to finish the menu, and that's what we should look at. Yes, add a banner, we've done that. Add the main content. So coming here, an example of our code, okay, it's split up, you'll notice. The wireframe has div, section, left column, right column. Div, section, left column, right column. And then div, section, and there's no columns, it's just content. So that's what we should do next. So let's at least finish the first section before we wrap it up. Okay, so coming on down, we do want this div class home grid, and it says, I'm going to copy this, h2 followed by a p in a div. Let's get all this. Okay, and you can optimize with personal images as well. Okay, and then there's a new section right here, come run with us. Hey, what's come run with us? Oh, it's section 3. So let's get section 1 established. Let's come back up here. And section 1, right, should follow home grid. Okay, it looks like I've actually already got a home grid here, so we don't need to repeat ourselves. I'm going to delete that. So don't repeat yourself. Again, make sure you have what you need and no more. Okay, and essentially that's kind of how you do it. You just go step by step, you preview in a new window, and again, you'll see I have section 1 here. It looks like I'm using the same image, okay, from that example in the assignment. Go through it, take your time. I simply want to see headings, paragraphs, and images. What we do next week is actually positioning with CSS. So remember, make sure you submit things correctly. You want to click share on the index file highlighted and copy here, project page. that should copy this. This is what you paste in Canvas, and I look